We're live with an absolutely packed concert series in the amphitheater behind me with a range of responses from people in shock to others who hadn't even heard the news until we told them. First, listen to my conversation with a former Secret Service agent who now lives in St. Louis. Brian Gant was a Secret Service agent for about 7 years during the Barack Obama administration. Gant spoke to us via Zoom from a conference he's attending in Chicago.
What you saw is exactly what should have happened. As soon as you hear the shots or whatever they were, agents immediately rush the stage and immediately shield the president in a crouch fashion. Go to the problem is what we were taught. Or remove the protectee from the problem.
Gant says there will now be monitoring of other potential political violence.
You always worry about copycat artists in these types of situations, but I just have a lot of faith and preparation that's done in these types of incidents prior and even more so after. Very unfortunate. It'll be interesting to see what the investigation yields.
Here's what visitors to Saturday night's Chesterfield concert event had to say.
This is their next attempt to keep Trump out of office, and it's just incredible.
I don't know. I have no thoughts on that. I don't know what's really going on, you know what I mean, because it's hard to find out about important situations like that when it comes to important people like that, so that's all I have to say.
This event is so packed, you'd have to drive a mile from here just to find a parking space right now, with people saying this is operating pretty smoothly. There is a screening process now, just like there always is, and it is going well. People just are starved to learn more about what happened. Live in Chesterfield, Chris Hayes, Fox 2 News.
All right, thanks, Chris. Yes, an incredible turn of events at that Trump rally. We do have team coverage. Fox News' Andy Banker is here with how the shooting is making major waves. Andy.
Hey, Elliot. I'm here with Hancock and Kelly. Michael Kelly on the left, John Hancock on the right. As we do every single Sunday morning, we'll be together tomorrow morning at 8:30 like always. We did not expect to come in here tonight.
No.
When did you hear? John, I'll start with you. Where were you? How'd you hear? And what just
Well, we went to Sunday or Saturday night service at church, and so we got out at 6:20 or whatever, and my phone had blown up, and my son, everybody called, and that's how I found out.
Michael?
I received a text while I was driving and said, get home and watch the news, and turned it on and got the sick pit in my stomach that I think we all had.
I was at City SC, the soccer game tonight in downtown St. Louis, and I got a text from Michael. That's how I found out. Now, you're on the left, as we always said. You said you got a pit in your stomach.
Yeah.
Why?
Because this isn't how it's
You're not a
supposed to
Donald
work.
Trump fan, right?
No, not at all. But I mean, look, Mr. Gephardt, who I work for, Congressman Gephardt from St. Louis, said politics is a substitution for violence. And too often in the last decade or so, whether it be the attack on Nancy Pelosi's house, Steve Scalise, Gabby Giffords, the assassination attempt tonight on Donald Trump, this is where we're finding ourselves being with the rhetoric that's being used, etc. And how can you not be sick about what's happened today and what the next 4 months are going to be like?
John, you heard President Biden's reaction. We're getting a flood of comments from everybody, Democrats and Republicans alike. Ann Wagner said she was in church. The congresswoman from St. Louis County, Republican, said her phone was blowing up. She went back in and started praying. She left to see what was going on because she could hear her phone going off in her purse. Cori Bush, the St. Louis Democrat congresswoman, says we must always collectively condemn political violence. I mourn the loss of life and pray for the families of the victims. And everyone is also saluting the heroic efforts of the Secret Service agents, as Chris Hayes just spoke to one. What do you make of the reaction?
Well, we're in a terrible place as a country, and the rhetoric is very unacceptable. I do think that the nation will come together and grieve. We were an inch or two away from this being a massive tragedy. I mean, think about the different conversation we could be having right now. Donald Trump survived this assassination attempt. I think you're going to see these outdoor rallies. This guy was outside of the security perimeter. That's question one. Why was the security perimeter not accounting for how long a long rifle could fire? And I think you're going to have to see these outdoor rallies in particular so much easier to secure an indoor facility. These outdoor rallies are dangerous. And when you've got nuts out there that want to kill somebody, you're putting not just Donald Trump, but all of these people, one of whom lost their lives tonight, who are attending the rally in real jeopardy. And I think you're going to see a fundamental change in the way the Secret Service protects these principles, particularly in these outdoor venues.
I remember being in Union, Missouri in 2008. Barack Obama was the nominee, but he was not the president. He was at a park gondola, and I was standing there thinking, someone could pick him off, you know, and it happened tonight, all these years later. Outdoor rallies.
Yeah.
They need to be stopped, like John said.
Well, look, these are the two most protected people on the planet, both Donald Trump and Joe Biden being their nominations. I know that the security will ratchet up around them, and we do the best that we can to protect our presidents. I don't think anybody's safe in a country that has the access to the guns that we do. And then when you throw in the gasoline of the political nonsense that we're doing, who knows what will come of it.
Republican National Convention starts in 2 days.
Yeah.
We have a statement from the Donald Trump campaign that he'll see you in Milwaukee. He's apparently okay, and he's not planning on missing any time at the convention. I guess we'll know more about that as the minutes pass tonight. Any concerns?
Of course. Now, that's an indoor venue. The Secret Service will be very intense. You know, that we're in a very unique situation here where both candidates running for president have been or are currently president. We've not had that for over 120 years in this country. And so the level of protection for both of them, and my understanding is that Robert F. Kennedy really isn't getting Secret Service protection. Here's a guy whose father and uncle both were assassinated.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there needs to be an intense focus. Now, look, our Secret Service does a phenomenal job. And the problem is, of course, they have to get it right every single time. It's a very high standard.
Michael, the political implications of this, will it sort of tone down the rhetoric? We're hearing from all corners that we don't know anything about the shooter, what motivated him. We don't know if he was a left-leaning Democrat or some kind of terrorist.
No, he was sick. We know
Obviously,
that.
right.
I think we're all hopeful that rhetoric will get under control, Andy, but we just went through this with Steve Scalise and Nancy Pelosi. And there weren't jokes that long ago where they were making fun of it. And I would imagine with how divided we are in this country, unfortunately, we will go back to our silos. I hope this is the defibrillator moment this country needs to get its head on straight.
Yeah.
Do you have any concerns? I mean, I hate to just talk straight politics here because he was almost killed. But do you have any concerns that this will cause a rallying effect around Donald Trump and may help his candidacy and get him back into the White House?
Well, as an American, I rally around the fact that he's the nominee for the Republican Party, and he should be protected and he should be safe. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to still be out to defeat him in the upcoming election, and I think that that's what Democrats will face. There'll be a temporary bump, but who knows? This is uncharted territory.
Do we need to stop the rhetoric about democracy being on the ballot?
Well,
you know, people were saying that's the end of the country if he gets reelected.
Yeah, good luck with that. And this thing, the social media on this thing is toxic. And folks are reading it, and it's toxic, and it's dangerous, and it played a role in what we saw tonight.
John, Michael, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming in. Elliot, we'll be back Sunday morning at 8:30, as we always are, for Hancock and Kelly, with a lot more on what we've seen tonight and what we'll learn overnight. Let's send it back to you.
All right, thank you, Andy, and also to John and Mike. And again, just reemphasize the huge debt that we owe the Secret Service and the performance of their duty today. A lot of shock and dismay among political leaders. I spoke to Republican Congresswoman Ann Wagner a short time after the shooting. Here's a little bit of what she told me.
I almost dropped to my knees. I couldn't believe it. Just can't believe it. That it would come to this. Here this is supposed to be a wonderful, a joyous rally in crescendo as they head off to their last rally in Butler, Pennsylvania, as the Trump campaign heads off to Milwaukee for the convention that starts on Monday. And there was clearly an active shooter. So, as I said, we don't know. At this point, it appears that the president is fine. He know he's being checked out at a local medical facility.
And Congresswoman Wagner offering up prayers for the dead as well as the wounded. Now, she says she's been in contact with a congressman who was actually at that event. She said Congressman Mike Kelly of Pennsylvania was 70 feet away from the shooting with his wife and grandchildren. They were not hurt, but she said Kelly believes it was a clear assassination attempt. Now, we are getting some words from all over the St. Louis area. Missouri Governor Mike Parson is taking to Twitter to offer his thoughts on the shooting, saying in part, please join him and his family in praying for President Trump, his family, and those in attendance at the rally. Governor Parson ended his tweet by saying, quote, please pray for our nation. Illinois Democratic and Senate Majority Whip Dick Durbin saying tonight, political violence is never acceptable. I'm keeping the former president, the bystander who was tragically killed, and all who were injured or whose safety was threatened in my thoughts.